for the ones who care.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to another video. My name is hughwizzy and you're watching 90 More. Now, it goes without saying that Arsenal should be thinking very carefully about the man that they choose to replace Arsene Wenger with. To me, at least, Arsene Wenger epitomises class and intelligence. The compassion and the understanding that he showed with a player like Abu Dhabi, you know, the patience as a man that he showed with a player like Jack. These are just a few of the things that I admire about Arsene. But if there was one man who I'd have been absolutely over the moon to welcome to the Emirates, to take us to that next level, to usher in the new era, both tactically and in the market, it would have been Pep Guardiola. I mean, the result today, Manchester City beating Bournemouth at Dean Court 2-0. It's more of a formality to me, and although it didn't exactly pan out exactly how I was thinking, they were always going to win this game. I mean, and we will talk about the game, but it was something that happened after the full-time whistle that really has struck a chord with me. I don't know how much you know about this, but Harry Arter is one of the good guys, and very tragically, his wife gave birth to a stillborn child, which I can't say I've ever experienced. I can't even comprehend, but I can empathise with. I feel like bringing a child into the world is one of the most magical personal things that a couple can do, and the bond that a mother has with her child is like no other. Now, Harry, he actually went back to work 2 days after it happened and played for Bournemouth with an immense performance, not only from him but from the whole side as they beat Man United 2-1. And he played out of his skin, and I see it as kind of heroic, because if there's one thing that you can't let happen, it's that no matter what adversity you come up against, and life just has this funny way of throwing fucking chaos our way, the most important thing is that you just can't give up. You cannot give up. It's about how you get back up from setbacks. He's a model professional who says actually that he's changed his perspective on life completely. And this type of thing can make or break you. And, you know, they didn't give up. They worked together through the problems. They overcame the adversity, and lo and behold, a beautiful thing is happening in that they're now expecting another child. And that was part of his little pep talk, if you will. And I just thought it was a real touch of class from Pep, even after all the time that had passed, you know, even after the games was finished, for him to take Harry aside and have a word with him. And it was clearly visible. I'm not a lip reading expert, but I could make him out, you know, I could make out what he was saying. And it looked very much like something like, "I'm so sorry for your loss." And I know it's not the be-all and end-all for how you judge the man, but it just made me think we should be really proud to have a man like this in the country, a man like this in the Premier League. Not just as a footballing mind, not just as a great footballing tactician, or not just as someone who can change the face of English football potentially, or at least help to change it for the better. Not just in the work that he's doing at Man City, which it's been stop-starty. He made a fantastic start, but they're now just 8 points off Chelsea. But not just because of that, but also because he's a really classy, intelligent man, someone that has got an incredible amount to offer, someone that isn't afraid to put the football aside for a second and has a very human side to him. It resonated deeply with me in the way that I see Arsene Wenger. He's a philosopher. He is an extremely wise man who is human and fallible and makes mistakes, but has a knack of making up for those mistakes or getting back up and getting back to work. And he has an aura about him when you meet him. And regardless of what you think of the man, you know, Wenger in, Wenger out, all this malarkey, if you're alone with him for even a few minutes, you pick up on it. I don't actually know what their relationship is like, Pep and Arsene, but I'd imagine that, you know, give them some time over a glass of wine and they get on like an absolute house on fire. They obviously have a great amount of respect for each other. I think they've gone on record as saying so. And Pep Guardiola came out recently and he spoke very passionately about his relationship with Philipp Lahm. You know, singing his praises as a player, but also calling him this friend who'd helped him to adapt to the massive changes that he undertook when he went to Germany, and also thanking him and his wife for being so welcoming. And it's moments like that that really tell you a lot about the person. Moments where you can get that human feeling for who they really are underneath the whole footballing ethos and the philosophy they're trying to instill in their side and the day-to-day work that they do. with the club. So there you have it. I mean, if it's not obvious by now, I really like him. My favourite two managers of all time are Sir Bobby Robson and Arsene Wenger. But Pep, regardless of some things that I do actually question about his playing career, there is some controversy to be talked about there. He is running a close third. But anyway, let's talk about the game. Very disappointing. Really sad to see my boy Gabriel Jesus going down early on and being replaced by Sergio Aguero, who looks delighted at the opportunity. He didn't really... I mean, did he grasp the opportunity? It's Sergio Aguero coming off the bench. It's not bad, is it? It's not half bad. But I felt that he could have done a little bit more, if I'm honest. He didn't really look to play with the type of energy that I expect from the guy before he'd got the goal. And I'm not sure that it really was his goal. He obviously got a touch. Was it going on target? I don't know. It looks like Tyrone Mings' own goal to me, but I'm sure he'll be claiming it. Sergio, he'll want to claim it. Confidence-wise, it's great for him. And for City as well, it's great to have the guy, hungry. But very disappointing to see Gabriel go down. I've been really excited by the guy. He's a great prospect. I've talked about him a few times before. And I hope that he continues to make progress and recovers quickly, because he's a great asset to what Pep's trying to do. And he's certainly been part of the kind of resurgence that they've been going through recently. I mean, they've been in good form, and they're now just 8 points behind Chelsea in what is a very tight, I would say, race for the second, third and fourth spot. Although you could argue that if Chelsea do have a couple of injuries, they might drop some more points, and should they perhaps, let's say, draw their next game, there will be, and City win, there will just be 6 points ahead, and then people might start to believe that something is possible. Any of those clubs in and around the top four could really have done that, but City are the ones who seem to be just pushing on a little bit, just pushing ahead a little bit, just testing the waters to see what Chelsea are really made of. And it's, it would be silly for us to say that Chelsea aren't going to win the league, because they really do look like favourites. They've been the most consistent, and there's nothing to suggest that that's going to stop anytime soon, unless things start to go wrong. I was very impressed again with Sane today. He's very calm, very quick. In general, he makes quite good decisions. Front three, it's an electrifying front three, and put Aguero in there, and I haven't been that impressed with Aguero recently, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I've talked about this before. He's not quite the player that he once was. He's lost a yard of pace. I think this is what it is. He's lost a yard of pace, and he's not really adjusting very well to having to change the makeup of his game and how he approaches what he does, because he was quite reliant on that burst of pace, and it's not quite as electrifying as it once was. The acceleration isn't quite there anymore. It's not the most fascinating results. It's by and large exactly how people would have expected it, to be honest. Although there were certain things that we should talk about, like the cutthroat attitude which Pep Guardiola is employing to the goalkeeping situation, where there was a lot of controversy over the signing of and also the performances of Bravo, and Caballero looks very good. He's made some great saves today. Bournemouth could well have got back in the game. I thought a really good refereeing decision actually when King had gone through. He'd pulled back John Stones. He'd obviously got hold of his shirt. I thought it was a little bit soft in a way, but it was a good decision. But it was a clear foul. He'd gone through, he'd scored, and he'd run away celebrating. And I think Bournemouth, that would have made the game 1-1, and it would have given Bournemouth the real confidence and momentum to get something, or the belief that they could have got something from the game, but they didn't. And ultimately, I think it was the right decision. Interesting tactics again employed by Guardiola, playing Fernandinho, playing him at left back, but where he pushes into midfield, into that defensive midfield role to give support, and left them with three at the back, with Sanya playing on the right, Kolarov on the left, and John Stones in the middle. And it worked. It looked from the team sheet like he was actually going to be playing at right back, but he didn't end up doing that. I've said this before, he is a real jewel in the crown, Fernandinho. He's someone that they missed sorely. He is one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, I reckon. He's still actually quite underrated. Maybe people have kind of written him off because of the aggressive nature of his play, thinking he's a dirty player or not. I don't believe that. He's a really good DM, and he's a very good passer of the ball as well. Can actually even take it past a man. He scores the odd goal, and he gave that added extra support to Yaya Toure today, because Yaya is an elder statesman, isn't he, of the City side, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He's technically still superb, both with his left and his right foot, and he came very close to scoring today as well. But most impressive as well, as per usual, it's my boy. He's an absolute baller. Raheem Sterling finally getting some credit, which is fantastic to see. He was given the Man of the Match award by Caballero. who was very calm with the ball at his feet today. I was quite impressed with his distribution, I have to say. But Raheem Sterling's dribbling ability is, without question, fantastic. And I think Sane is playing ahead of his years. I wasn't expecting him to really hit the ground as running as he has. The interchanging passing between Silva and Kevin De Bruyne, the link-up play is fantastic. I mean, going forward, they are really good. They do have issues at the back, but we've been over this before. Defensively, he's going to make changes, but being very experimental as well. And that's one of the things I like about Pep. He tries things. He's not scared to change things. It wasn't the most exciting game, I don't think, but I'm very sad to see Jack Wilshere go down as well. I hope it's not too serious because he's been playing such good football, and he started so many games where so many people thought he was a write-off already, that he's attracted the attention of City, or at least they've been talking a lot about him. And I do hope that he isn't going to be tempted to be one of their homegrown players for next season, because I think that they'd love to have him. I hope it isn't that serious, but I do hope that he comes back to Arsenal, because I still think he's got a lot to offer, even as much as being a captain one day. Yeah, short and sweet video. I mean, I know it's not that short and sweet. I've waffled on for quite a bit, but I was mainly talking about Pep. I think he's a real asset to the league and a very interesting character, and someone that I'll be watching closely, because like I said, I would have welcomed him with open arms at Arsenal. So I hope that people in the league, and especially at City, do cherish what they've got, because given time, I'm sure that he can do amazing things. You've already seen that we've got two Premier League managers making their debut in their debut seasons, in first and second, and there's something to be said for that. They're bringing something different. They're obviously backed with huge financial power and whatnot in the clubs that they are, and they're blessed with very decent squads. At the very minimum, you could call them very decent squads, but they will develop into European powers if these guys are given enough time. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe if you're new, and drop the video a like if you breathe oxygen. I'll speak to you in the next video, which will be up tomorrow. For now though, my name's been hughwizzy, and this has been a lot of fun. Peace.